Okay, everyone can see this, right?
Yes, we can.
Yes, it's
Okay,
clear.
okay,
Yes, we
good.
can. Yeah.
All right, so I a little bit recap very fast about what we did last week. So please remember two important principle. Religion and religious phenomenon always change. How about doctrine? Doctrine could be changed too. So and religion and peace are not singular but plural all the time. So religion should be religions, peace should be pieces. Please remember this. This guy named Rudolf Otto give us kind of very insightful the word creature feeling or noumen or numinous experience. According to him, God as absolute other, quite different, totally different from human being, transcending everything. But before such God, we feel fear, tremble, and even frightened. But on the other hand, we cannot deny that we are very much close to him and fascinated by him and very much feel warm from him. This is a contradictory feeling, but it's creature feeling as a human beings feel about God as such. It's very much a traditional Western or the figure of God in the Old Testament, like Job and other religious figure in the Old Testament. Of course, it's the God, Jesus' image of God is quite different from that one. And then it's more on the power, you know, but at the same time, it gives a kind of mercy, endless mercy, limitless mercy to Israel people. So it's a kind of there is you know, if you are Israel people, on one hand, God gives you very much a hard time. And at the same time, he gives also endless love and mercy, things like that. You could see this. We've been through last time, and also I introduced to you before Raimon Panikkar, whose the concept of faith and beliefs a little bit different from Rudolf Otto. The more close to the Wilfred Cantwell Smith, another scholar on religion. According to Raimon Panikkar, we have some the Cosmotheandric vision, which is very big word, but if you divide three parts, we have the cosmos, and the humans are God together. So unlike the image of God described by the Otto, there is no clear dichotomy or dualism or binary between among God and nature, or God and human, or nature and human beings. So it's when we feel God, it's all together. Maybe there is no which one is the superior than to others, but there is no a better one or you know. But the thing is, which one is you feel the close, more closer. Maybe that is another standard too, every individual. So maybe Asian as a generally speaking, maybe yeah, it's he's Indian, so his way of the explanation so would be familiar to uh, Asian in general, not maybe someone who has a different idea. Now, just go into the very point I'm explaining. One other important figure, Saint Anselm of Canterbury. Even before Thomas Aquinas, you may have heard the name Thomas Aquinas. You know, he's one of the church father and distinguished the theologian. We have, if you are request to choose two great theologians in the whole the history of the church, then one is the Saint Augustine. He's very early. He's indeed African, but many portrait of him is look like the Western people. So with a little bit, you see, not dark skin, but white skin, and also hair like not African. Very few, very few. This is kind of the distortion was also happening this because such a great the scholar, such a great saint should not be black. That's simple. So here is also the idea of colonization, you see. So imperialism still influence the church as such. And then another great theologian and philosopher is Thomas Aquinas. But before him, Thomas Aquinas, I introduce Anselm to you because the faith-seeking understanding is just simple. Faith-seeking understanding. What is the theology? What is the theology of yours? Then he said, faith-seeking understanding. That's all. That's the clear definition of theology. Very simple, right? According to him, we begin with the faith first, faith in God first. And then faith moved on to the understanding of Christian faith truths. So this is the key Anselm's theological thought, presenting the close relationship between faith, and reason, which is, the work the Thomas Aquinas did indeed in the Middle Age. After him, Thomas Aquinas tried to combine together with the faith and human reason. But before him, indeed, Anselm was the one who did that. So faith comes first, followed by the reason. This is a very famous, sentence or phrase. Maybe someone who familiar with the National Catholic Reporter in the U.S., there is some section, faith-seeking understanding. It's the section in which many books are introduced under the section. So this is the in the church, the faith-seeking understanding is a very well-known definition of theology. So it is good for you to remember. The faith we have already, faith come first, and then the faith is not just still there, but it's very active and very dynamic, seeking always to know, seeking always to understand God. That is the theology of Anselm and of mine and of many others. So one would understand all things in faith. It means to understand intellectually what we already believe. So, you know, the harmony between the reason and faith. Before Augustine, of course, we found in Augustine, faith first. You should believe in God first. This is, you know, a very strong tradition of Christianity, all the way from the Augustine to the up until now. But just believing is quite difficult for modern people. You see, the more you know, the better you give your faith in. This, how can, yeah, after Augustine, many people, including Anselm, how we could combine or harmonize faith and the reason. This is one very big. So these days, nobody object the idea we could have a faith in harmony with the reason or human rational, things like that. So, like a small child, you know, who trusts their parents and believe them first, and then it is only later on when they grow up that they want to examine and understand the reality, how much their parents love him or her by themselves. So he is very important figure. He is indeed Benedictine monk. So on other hand, is escalate to the archbishop. So last years, Anselm worked to reform the church with that theology. What is it? Faith, seeking, understanding. In other words, harmony between doing theology is a harmony between the faith and reason. So Anselm worked to reform the church and continue his theological investigation following the motto, faith, seeking, understanding. Finally, Clement 11, he named him Doctor of the Church. I think he's saint. Yeah, he's a saint. There's so many saints anyway. How about this one? How can we, yeah, and then the question then, how can we know and have faith in God then? How can we know we have faith in God ourselves? Raise question yourself. We are all Christian. We believe in Jesus or believe in God. Yeah, just let's limit ourselves in this moment, just God alone. How you know you have faith in God? This is a big question indeed. According to Karl Rahner, I introduce you to about Karl Rahner, but he said it is God's total self-communication with the human, with nature. This is the basis of Karl Rahner's theology. All human beings have an inherent awareness of God, intrinsic. In other words, human being has a faith as early as he was born, or he or she was born. That is the what this sentence means. Human beings have an inherent awareness of God. How come they know from the beginning? In any experiences in daily life, with a very limited knowledge, a very limited freedom, as a finite being, as a human. It is because God, who pour himself 100% into human being at the time of Jesus Christ, at the time of when he created the world. So Rahner maintained the fulfillment of human existence consists in receiving God's self-communication, and we call communication, and that the human being is actually constituted by this divine self-communication. So it's kind of incarnation. Think about incarnation. God become flesh. If we understand this and limit this to only Jesus Christ, yeah, it's okay, which is a traditional understanding of incarnation. But if we more freely understanding to the point that God poured himself not only to Jesus Christ, but to the whole human beings as well as all natures, then what is not God? The whole is God. Of course, inside us already we have God. So according to Karl Rahner, such communication start from initiated by the God, which is why we could recognize God. We could know, we could be aware of God. This is the one explanation, very good understanding of how could we know God? How could we know then we have a faith in God? I don't know you. I think it's an easier way to explain, and that because God the pour himself 100% into the human beings and nature, so that we have already God inside as a seed. So the more you cultivate it, the better you know God, the better you feel God. Like for example, it's just not modern time, the people in modern time. It's people, the ancient world or primitive world, maybe the way back in before the history, human history, the primitive, even primitive people place a dead body when their loved one died. They put their head toward eastern side, not the north side. Why? Because the eastern side where the sun rises all the time. So that means it's when they bury the body. Why? Because they wish or they believe eternal life of the dead body. So although they died in flesh, but they are living in their soul or something else. So it's even before that they know something else. Even if the biologically human died, but they believe or hope the dead one live forever, enjoy eternal life, things like that. This is happens so the way back in even before the human history. So anyway, Karl Rahner identified God as absolute mystery. So how can we know the mystery? We cannot. In God, Rahner's theology, the absolute mystery revealed himself in self-communication. I already explained to you. Revelation, especially in the Bible, how can we know the God? But we know that through the Bible and through every single moment we face in every daily life. But even if we feel God, but such a revelation is not enough, does not reserve the mystery self. It increases cognizance of God's incomprehensibility. It's a little bit big word. In other words, it's impossible, even if we feel God, It's impossible to know 100% God existence. What is a God? So incomprehensibility is we cannot grasp 100% God's presence. This still remain mystery. So experience of the mystery of themselves push people to the absolute mystery, on always ever great mystery, remain ever great mystery in a daily life. This guy, Karl Rahner, is a very funny phrase here. The number one cause of atheism, none, who reject the believing God, is Christian, not Islam, not no Hindu, no Buddhist. Because of the Christian, there's a number of, number one cause of atheism. Those who proclaim him, the Christian, proclaim he's in mouth, but in his deed, they don't action that way. So is what an unbelieving world finds unbelievable. It's like Mahatma Gandhi. I like Christianity. I like Jesus, but I don't like church or Christianity. He said that. The same. They teach, Christianity or Jesus teach love, and he actually practiced and did love, but many people, many church did not follow him. This is what he talked about here. So because of that, we have many atheists, and because of that, result is like we now the world is not can be not people trustful and unbelievable. So how about adult faith? It's a kind of a spirituality of laity. So up until this point, I'm indeed this is our main issues. Why we talk about last time? Remember, yesterday we talked about Lumen Gentium, one of the major documents, the Vatican II. Lumen Gentium talk about the lay status, number 10. It's the lay people is the clergy. I mean, the clergy and the priest. It's different from lay people, not only degree but also essence. I stress very much on this paragraphs, and also on the other hand, there is some supportive the phrase too, like a number 12, like a number especially 32, in which it stated that we have one Lord, one faith, and one salvation, which is tremendous, a totally different meaning of what the number 10 talking about. We have one Lord, one one Lord, one salvation, one baptism, and one salvation. This is quite opposite to the number 10, which describe a clear divide into clergy and lay people by saying not only degree but also in essence. So anyway, in order to do or study lay theology, so that how God's the grace, God's love working among our life, daily life, among our people. That is why we study theology of laity, or theology of spirituality of laity. So adult faith, which we are trying to pursue, to reach, not a baby stage of faith. The spiritual, in other words, adult faith is a kind of spirituality of everyday life. It's before I mentioned the one Lord and one baptism and one salvation, like baptized priesthood, kind of a universal priesthood, in other words. So all people of God, the one chosen people of God, baptized into Paschal mystery. We died with God. We suffer with Jesus Christ. We died with Jesus Christ. We resurrect with Jesus Christ. That is the Paschal mystery. We're going to that again in a very a good portion of time. So I will deal with later. So what is the adult phase for Jesus? Jesus' Abba experience when he pray in a very desperate manner at the mountain Gethsemane, and he's disciple all in sleep, sleeping. So Jesus is indeed in very much suffering, predicting, expecting he's die soon, he crucified soon. So he said, indeed, this is your will. I accept this, the deaths, my deaths. But if you can do, please don't do this. This kind of thing, he feels so pain and painful and suffering. He feels suffer too from his the expected, anticipated deaths. So Abba experience, on the other hand, he said, when he feels so close God, he called God Abba, simply Father. Some scholar found it, Jeremiah especially, Abba is a daddy in Aram. Aram is a language of, at that time, Jesus is normally used as a first language in Palestine. So it simply means a daddy. But another scholar criticized his idea. It's not only baby talk. When Jesus pray in a Gethsemane mountain, he's so painful about his the soon to be death. So he accepts such his death in a very mature manner as an adult, not baby. So Abba is not only the baby talk, but also it's someone who mature enough to embrace his deaths also. He found God as the ultimate ground. Even if I die, maybe God, not maybe, for sure, the God as ultimate ground embraced me like a mother. So he, finally follow God's will. This is what we call the adult faith. Jesus' experience of God as Abba. The best way to discern if our prayer is authentic is to judge to what extent our life is being transformed. If our life, in our life, we feel we are changed in the light of not a bad behavior or bad feeling, but mercy, you are the more being merciful. That is the one way of, to judge your prayer is authentic. So whether you are pray in individually or in collective and in community, the authenticity is not depend on the people's voice or how beautifully sing. No, it's not that. How could you change yourself in light of mercy or loving others? It is gaudite exudate. It's kind of I think it's joy, be joy and no, rejoice and be glad. This is published by Pope John Paul, Pope Francis, 2018, number 105. So it's very recent one. But I want to try to say to you, don't be deceived by words. Whatever you heard from me or from other people from clergy, like a very heavy word like a spirituality or mysticism or mystery. I mentioned many times, even 30 minutes before, 20 minutes before. But don't be deceived by the words. Spirituality or mysticism is not a special the words or realm or state of faith. Your daily life, in which you do your prayer and in a sincere manner is a mystery and spirituality. That means you already feel or try to get such the feeling of God. So which is a mystery. So your daily life, without your daily life, such mystery or spirituality useless or meaningless. So don't be deceived. Someone, oh, she's very spiritual. Look at her, or look at his deed. Indeed, his words and his actions, his practice, and his life. That is the spirituality. You know why? Spirituality is so stressed in the church. Why? Because it has been regarded as an internal dimension of faith. That is a mystical experience of God. It shows clear tendency to divide the body and soul or spirit. It's kind of, from all the way from the Greek philosophy, in which the latter, the soul, has been much stress. Soul or spirit has much stress, a theological tendency, so much so that all the way from Greek, the philosophy, especially Plato. So all the way from Plato, it's maybe 2,000, 3,000 years ago, and we have a clear division, body and the soul. So it's soul is like a prisoner in a prison called body. So there is soul is much superior to the body. That is a clear dualistic worldview. Today, wholeness faith is emphasized. So experience of God include the reason. We have a reason, head, feeling, heart, and willingness, and our body. So becoming the whole is containing practices and changes of life. So changes of life is really important, which is crucial for lay spirituality. When it comes to lay spirituality or lay theology, we cannot imagine, we cannot think of this without our daily life. So don't be deceived by this kind of words, especially. I will skip this part. It's also one of the well-known scholar on religions, but you can just look at this. There is a seven common the dimension of religion. And I will also briefly explain religion and violence all together, religion and peace all together. His name is Johann Galtung or John Galtung, presenting religion as a good example of cultural violence. The religion is a cause of cultural violence. He divided the violence into the many ones. The cultural violence, the direct violence, indirect violence, like that. One of the representative cultural violence is a religion. The concept of God as a novice in the monotheistic religion, Judaism, Christianity, and Islam, is the main cause of violence and conflict. He argued that. So it's a transcendence. A God means transcend this word. Transcending this word means, it's already dualism there, based on good and evil, in transcendental concept like the soul. It's this land is evil or ugly, or On the other hand, transcendental, meaning on the heaven, is good and beautiful. So separate between the chosen and the unselected. So this kind of the ugly and ugliness and the beauty is coming from this kind of monotheistic, transcendental monotheistic tradition like Judaism, Christianity, Islam. Yeah, which is true. Like a holy war, Islamic jihad and crusade in the Middle Age of Christianity. It's clear the proofs, evidence. It's a kind of people from Islam killed other people in the name of jihad, like a Christian killed other people in the name of holy war, like a crusade in the Middle Age. Yeah, it's explained as a Johann Galtung. It's cultural violence is a religion. His interview, 2016 in Korea, representative example of cultural violence is religion, both in Korea and abroad. There is no religion on earth solely peaceful or solely violent, both peaceful and violent. All religions have a peaceful, violent aspect. In particular, Christianity's problem. He's singled out Christianity. Why? The teaching of loving neighbors and enemies are not being followed well. I mentioned already when Karl Rahner said that. If we are looking for ways to serve cultural violence, we should honor, we should respect, we should protect the peaceful aspect of religion and ideology while criticizing the violent aspect. So since the all religion have two sides, have a two side, the violent side and peaceful side. So we criticize the violent side in a severe way. At the same time, we promote and preserve, protect the peaceful aspect also. And religion, its role as kind of justify the violence, So holy war, which began with the religious motives many times. Yeah, no, some say, some religionists they say, no. Religion is a good. Religion is peaceful. But it is a political force to use it. Of course, the religion is misused, abused many times, but religion itself has the peaceful and the violent factors and elements at the same time. So terrorism, many things here. So it's we call religious conflict if religion is involved and religious identity and belong to same religions and so on and so forth. And also peaceful nature of the religion, like the shalom. Even the name of Islam. Islam is not only obedience to God, Allah, but also peace. Also, itself, salam is meaning peace, which is very important one. And the shalom is the whole the peace, the well-being also. Is the ultimate goal of Islam is spiritual struggle, which real, genuine meaning of great jihad. Jihad is not killing people. It's not attacking as, some say it's like a terrorist attack. No, it has little to do with the jihad. Jihad is a spiritual struggle in many sense. So diverse nature of peace. I said that the peace is always plural, not singular, because who proclaim or who said is depend on the who speak really the peace, which is why peace is always pieces. So here look at this example, Christianity. God is love. Isn't it beautiful? God is love. But if it is self-centered pacifism, meaning protect and preserving the peace. But if it is self-centered, God is love is only for Christianity. It's only for Christian. How about Islam jihad? The holy war against the innocent, the civilian? It's not the real meaning of jihad. So self-centered, the pacifism, meaning preserving, protecting peace, is a very dangerous one. So we need to extend our religious concept of love, mercy to everyone, everybody. Don't exclude others. So urgent task of church, opening up its door, reflect the reality of third world, living spirit of God, and not your own movement. Empower people, especially the poor, lay formation, promoting church, important role of public sphere. In promoting church and the theology in playing an important role for public voice, especially poor people, which is very crucial, the task the church and Christian have to do. So theme for discussion this time, how do we know I believe in God? I have faith in God. How do we know yourself? Yeah, I introduced Karl Rahner and also Anselm of Canterbury, but faith-seeking understanding, remember? So what is your understanding of a faith-seeking understanding and God's self-communication with humans? Why should religion and peace go together? Should we put together all the time religion and peace?